Green Senator Rachel Siewert was central to negotiations with the government about the changes to the aged pension. She joins us now. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
What have the Greens got in return for giving the government what it wants on pensions?
The commitment for a proper retirement income review as part of the tax white paper process. For decades there's been ad hoc changes to the pension, to super, to other measures that affect those older Australians who are retiring, and it's having an effect that we don't know what those effects are. We know that the changes the government's making or wants to make sort of in terms of increasing the retirement age, super, there's lots of evidence to show that it's unsustainable into the future. The wealthy are getting the lion's share of that. And so this review will look at all of those things.
But the government has, made a very, very clear that it's not going to touch superannuation. So it's a rather Pyrrhic victory, isn't it, to have this included in this review?
This way, we actually get it included in the tax paper. We get the evidence on the table. And if we stopped every time a government said no, we'd never get change. And so this gets it on the table, this gets the evidence, enables stakeholders to participate in the process and have a holistic approach to retirement incomes, which is what the stakeholders have been calling for.
So you're hoping that once the evidence is on the table, the government will change its mind, or you're thinking for future governments?
We're looking into the future here. I'm hoping that this government would change its mind once the evidence is on the table. It is silly to keep on going with a policy that disproportionately benefits the wealthy when those that we are really trying to help with super are missing out. That doesn't make sense.
Now, even if that never happens, is it still worthwhile, do you think, supporting these changes to the pensions on their own merit?
We are, in fact, reversing changes that the Howard government should never have made in 2007. They weren't sensible changes. They were making a lot of tax cuts and dispersing largesse around the place that was unsustainable into the future. We said so at the time, so this reverses that. And it also makes sure that 171,000 people either get a pension increase or access to the full pension. Now, what we should be doing is making sure that those with the least assets are actually getting the benefits from the pension. And so what it does is shift some of the effort and money that goes to the more wealthy people to those most vulnerable, those on low and modest assets.
So what do you make of Labor's position there?
I think they have missed an opportunity to actually look at how we move into the future and ensure that we have a proper retirement system that gives everybody a decent retirement. And at the moment we don't. We've got a system that increasingly gives the wealthy an even better retirement and doesn't look after the most vulnerable Australians and those with low or modest assets.
Now, you've been in close negotiation with Scott Morrison. Give us an insight in that, because I think it's fair to say that when he was Immigration Minister, he was very much the hard man of the government and someone the Greens really didn't like whatsoever. What do you make of him now?
Well, for a start, it shows that this process shows that we are prepared to look at reforms and look at measures that will actually lead to long-term reforms, because we've got our eye on the future and making sure that we have a decent living and lifestyle and retirement.
Okay, you've made that point, but I'm interested.
He was very, very open to negotiations. I don't usually comment on negotiations when we've had them, but he was very attentive and listening to our point of view.
Okay, Rachel Siewert, thanks for your time.
Thank you.